ESPN Arkansas.
Weather is brought to you by OG&E Weatherization Program for Arkansas customers with homes at least 10 years old. Call 1-800-272-9741 for details or log on at oge.com.
Radio and ESPN.
Radio station.
KERX, Paris, Fort Smith. From the Bush and Bushlight Studios, this is ESPN 95.3.
Good morning, Vietnam!
From coast to coast. Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studios.
I love Arkansas! I love everything here! Give me that thing here!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
HitThatLine.com.
You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
This is Halftime.
Man, that ball got out of here in a hurry.
With Phil Elson.
You do a fantastic job on the radio. There's no one else in this league I'd rather listen to, so keep up the good work.
And Ty Richardson.
Guys do a good job, and I listen to you guys.
2 more quarters, and after that, most of you will never play this game again.
D-Mac, hold on, Matt Ryan. D-Mac not looking back, touchdown.
How about that Heisman, Mark Jones?
How do you like
it? Wide open again.
All right, hold on, it's almost halftime.
Middle of the week, getting back into work, really into the swing of a work week, which with a short work week, yesterday was our Monday. I guess that makes today our Tuesday. It is really Wednesday, and so it is hump day and getting set for Arkansas versus Ole Miss. Putting to bed last week's performance against Portland State, and we appreciate you tuning in today right there in the middle of your day. Phil Elson here, along with Ty Richardson of the ESPN Arkansas studios. Our Cherokee Casino hotline for a call or a text is 877-377-6963. Again, that's 877-377-6963. Ty, how long do you figure we need to be dwelling on last week's game? And I think this is the question that I'll ask to answer really for the rest of the season. I mean, if it's the middle of the week, if last game was played 4 days ago and the upcoming game is 3 days away, does that mean that you don't stop talking about what happened last week, but you don't focus on it as much as you did? Yesterday was our Monday, so it was like a day to react. So that almost means for me, I feel like we skip over Tuesday, and instead of dwelling on 20-13 over Portland State, we'll refocus things and get it set for the game that you and me, and I think a lot of other people, targeted when the season schedule came out all those months ago as the most important game of the year. They'll always tell you that the game that's in front of you is the most important game of the year, right? But when you look at the grand perspective of everything and a rebuilding program, looking for a conference win to point to that you're going in the right direction, it's not the Super Bowl, but it's like the game that almost gets you into the playoffs, if you're to use an NFL term.
Yeah, and the whole idea coming out of this game against Ole Miss, if you win it, you're in a much better place to be in a bowl game. And if you lose, then the bowl games are not completely smashed, but they're as close to smash as it can get. And this is the battle, regardless if Tom Hart is willing to say it or not. I know he's broadcasting the game for the SEC Network, and that was probably an uneasy question for me to ask him yesterday. This game, Saturday night in Oxford, Mississippi, is for who will be the last place team in the SEC West, period. End of story. There's not another team in the SEC West, based off what you know from the offseason, based off from what you've seen in games so far, that is going to be worse than these two programs. That's where you're at right now with the Arkansas Razorback. That's why this game is so vital to win. And how many times did we stress over the offseason that I can't remember a Week 2 game being as pivotal as this one is down in the Grove this weekend, Phil?
Well, I mean, it's obviously a coaching staff, and it's not every coaching staff that's like this. This is a coaching staff and a program that is trying to project optimism in a difficult time to show optimism in hard, cold facts in terms of wins, because that's really at the end of the season what you point to. And even if you double the amount of wins you got last year, what does that really do for you if none of those victories are inside the most difficult conference in the country and probably what still looks like the most difficult division in that most difficult conference in the country. And so now's your chance to do it. Whether or not the winner or the loser of this game finishes in last place, it is an SEC West game. And this is the one where you're looking at two non-conference opponents coming up after this weekend, and so you'll be excited about maybe a revenge win against Colorado State. A victory over San Jose State is and maybe another thing, but none of those will have the impact that a victory against Ole Miss on the road would have, especially after losing. What's the losing streak now in conference? I mean, you're going to Bielema's last year. Is it up to 12, 13 games, I think, since the last SEC victory for Arkansas? So this is the time to do it, and then you can start to really project some optimism about what's coming up in the weeks afterwards. So it seems, again, I mean, a lot. You know what I take from week one, and when we talk about from a lot of people, this is something we talked about with Tom Hart. We would bring it up with Bill King. We'll bring it up with Clay Henry later on in the show. You know it going into week one that a season can be lost perhaps in week one, but it doesn't necessarily define what your season is about. And it also doesn't mean that what you see week one is the same team that you're going to see week 10 or week 11. So we know what we're going to see this weekend from Arkansas and Ole Miss. Those are two offenses that struggled mightily. One of them against a team in Memphis that might contend for an American Athletic Conference crown. The other team in Portland State that might have a little trouble pulling themselves out of the bottom division in the Big Sky. But I tell you what, if you prognosticate the season early, and I mean there were season predictions put out by national pundits weeks ago, you know that there will be week-by-week projections as to where certain teams will play at the end of the season, meaning bowl projections. And Sports Illustrated came out with their bowl projections. You could call these, Ty, way too early bowl projections, because let's be honest, any projection for games that will be played in mid-December to mid-January, and here it is September the 4th, they're always going to be way too early. But that's also what people like to read. Sports Illustrated does think Arkansas is going to find a way to pick up 5 more wins this year, which to me and you, Ty, that means that they're going to pick up at least 2 conference victories.
I was going through my time hop this morning, and it popped up last year where Arkansas was projected bowl-wise on ESPN.com in both the Texas Bowl and the Liberty Bowl. Kyle Bonegra and I think Schleybaugh was the other guy that had the projected ESPN. As of this year, as of right now, ESPN.com does not have Arkansas projected to go bowling. SI does, ESPN.com does not. And I think the outlook of the season for most Arkansas fans is this team's not going to end up in the postseason. I think they're being realistic based on what they saw last season, based on the Vegas line being at 5.5 by most accounts. And that's just disappointing for this program right now, because you want to be back to a point where you're not necessarily expecting this team to win the SEC West and compete for national championship, but at least be relevant. To not be the laughingstock in the SEC behind the SEC would stop. In the West, you think about the Mississippi schools, which you've traditionally been better at, and you're not even better than them this year. That's why to get back to that point where you're at least better than the Mississippi schools, you got to beat one of them. You get Mississippi State at home, and you get a bad Ole Miss team, which many has described as one of the worst Ole Miss teams in the past decade, on the road. So you got to win. You got to find a win one of those games so you can at least get relevant when it comes not only the SEC West, but be better than at least one Mississippi school, Phil, so you can feel good about that.
Well, I mean, yeah, and hey, Arkansas versus Ole Miss is not going to be the prettiest game unless both offenses take a giant step forward. I mean, you're looking at Arkansas that had really the keys would fall out of the ignition once you got close to the 25-yard line of Portland State. Certainly by the end of the first half, that's what happened. I mean, then Memphis just couldn't get anything going at all. Couldn't even rack up over 200 yards of total offense against that Memphis defense. Arkansas at least was able to move the ball at times, just really wasn't able to finish drives. And admittedly, you're going to see a better defense from Ole Miss than you saw from Portland State this Saturday. So the question for me is, I mean, we still think that this is a winnable game. I haven't seen what the line is today, but it was 6.5. Ole Miss favored 6.5. I would take that right now. I think if I was an Arkansas fan, or if I was an Arkansas fan that bet on the Razorbacks. By the way, if you're an Arkansas fan that bets on the Razorbacks, what are you doing? It's a tough life to live.
It's two ways to lose. That's why you always bet against the Razorbacks, because you win either way. You either win money or Arkansas wins the game. But from my perspective, you just don't bet on them at all, because it never turns out the way you want it to.
So then I guess the question is to, guide it towards the bowl projections, and Sports Illustrated does think that Arkansas will be the last SEC team to play in the Independence Bowl. This is the last year, I believe, that the I-Bowl is under contract with the SEC. They'll play either an ACC team or Notre Dame, and they've picked the Wake Forest Demon Deacons.
Could you name their coach off the top of your head?
Not a chance.
Or a player?
Not a chance.
Okay, I can't either. So.
It depends on how quickly I could look over in the Phil Steele media guide here to figure that out.
That'd be fun. I know our buddy Zach Arntz would not be too happy if Notre Dame was to slip to the Independence Bowl and play Arkansas, because that means his Fighting Irish had a downtrodden, dreadful season comparatively to what they were projected. But I'm sure Ian Book would find a way to throw a football at a non-looking Arkansas cheerleader and make something good out of that.
Dave Clawson's the head coach of Wake Forest football
Clawson.
time.
Oh, Dave Clawson. Yeah, Coach Clawson.
Been there. He's in the 6th year and has led them to consecutive winning seasons 3 years in a row, which I tell you what, at Wake Forest, that feels like an accomplishment, but I don't think it was all that long ago that Wake Forest actually played in one of the back then it was called BCS Bowls. I think they got crushed in an Orange Bowl about, 9 years ago?
Did they, in that game that Starkel put up all those passing numbers?
It was against Wake Forest.
It was. Did they win that game, or did they lose?
Well, I think if they racked up, over 550 yards of offense, chances are they won that game. By the way, Wake Forest did beat Utah State, slipped past the Aggies 38-35 this past weekend. So they do have a win, but over a Division I school. So then my question would be, where's the other victory? And what do you need to see maybe this weekend to convince you that Arkansas has another 5 wins in them? And we've been looking at this schedule for a long time now and wondering, well, Ole Miss is a winnable game. And so what are the other ones? Is it Mississippi State? A team that gave up 28 points and over 250 or over 160 rushing yards to Louisiana, although they won by 10 points. Is it against Kentucky? A team that needed a good second half push to win over Toledo at home. Do you think maybe that Arkansas can surprise Auburn in Fayetteville? I would doubt that after seeing the way Auburn played against Oregon. Still think maybe Missouri, that last game. And again, now here we are, September 4th, talking about the Black Friday game. The day after Thanksgiving is potentially the next most winnable game. It's a Missouri team that got, just crushed up front for nearly 300 yards rushing in Laramie, Wyoming. So, there's the classification of winnable games, Ty, but then there's also what do you need to see this weekend to convince you, if they beat Ole Miss, that there's another one out there somewhere? What do you need to see?
Well, it starts with the dub. If you beat Ole Miss, I think fans, they're still restless to an extent, but you got the dub. You got the win that so many people, as of Wednesday, September the 4th, don't think you can get. Vegas has Ole Miss winning the football game. I'm sure if you polled most Arkansas fans, they would have the Rebels winning this football game. So I think from that perspective, just getting the dub turns the tide a little bit. It doesn't turn it all the way. You're still probably glancing the iceberg, but you're not hitting it head on. And then it's just a kind of a balancing stand, not a balancing, but a moving forward standpoint when you face off against Colorado State. If you beat Ole Miss, you should beat Colorado State, and then San Jose State the following week. And then you get A&M to be competitive in that A&M game, because no one expects Arkansas to go into Jerry World and come out with a victory against the Aggies, except maybe the coaching staff and the players for the Razorbacks, if they have enough confidence to that point. But there's some games you expect to win and you hope to win to keep your bowl season alive. Ole Miss is a perfect example. And there's some games like an LSU, like a Texas A&M, that you just want to be competitive in. You're not yes, you want to win every single game on your schedule, but you're not going to be just so ticked off if you lose a tight one to LSU or a close ball game to A&M, even though it happens like that every single year. because you would be a lot more confident about where this team is as a program if you're not getting whacked like you were a few times last year.
I feel like on Saturday you want to see a team that's on time offensively with everything they want to do. And, sometimes you need a wide receiver to save a quarterback from a poorly thrown ball. Other times you can get the perfectly thrown ball that's dropped, and that happened a couple of times for Ben Hicks. And the quickness of getting that play in from the sideline, relayed to your to everybody else that you got to relay it to, get them lined up, get them going, and the tempo that I felt you saw every once in a while in last Saturday's game. I think you want to feel like this offense is ready to click, like everybody knows where they got to be, knows the timing of every play, and that this offense that was vanilla by design, and I'll give Chad Morris and Joe Craddock the benefit of the doubt of them being up front about saying that this was a vanilla by design game last Saturday, that it is not. Again, I like vanilla. I would say it's just, a bad offense is a tasteless offense. I think vanilla tastes just fine. A few chocolate stripes, a couple of strawberries mixed in this next Saturday. I want to see the Chad Morris offense that has been advertised to this fan base ever since he came on. Not like you got to hear hammer down in left lane, but you want to see a little bit of what you expected to see, and I think what Chad Morris would like to see his team do. That's what I want to see offensively. Defensively, I want to – by the way, John Chavis didn't call a vanilla game against Portland State. There might have been a vanilla offense. It was not a vanilla defense. That defense brought pressure from safeties and every other position that they possibly could. It was impressive to see Chavis call, I think, the sort of game that he would like to call. So I'd like to see a little bit more of that on Saturday. And, Ole Miss had a lot of trouble on the offensive line. One of the reasons that Matt Corral didn't corral 100 yards is that he was running for his life all the time. He's a redshirt freshman. He doesn't have a lot of game playing experience, and they kept him on the run. And he looked like a quarterback who was confused. I think they'll have the chance to do that to Corral on Saturday. But I also think that they won't be facing another quarterback in that sort of mindset for a long time. Because by the time you get to Auburn and Bo Nix, he's got like 5 or 6 games in his back pocket. By that time, it's like he's not really even a freshman any longer.
And to your point, Phil, if you look at the plays and the blitzes from last year against Eastern Illinois to this year, it's double the amount of blitzes. Arkansas blitzed 55% of the time on Saturday, which is way more than they did in their opener last season. So, as you pointed out, John Chavis kind of shifting to the style that he wants. We saw with the offense kind of easing into it last year, never got where Chad Morris wanted. You hope that the offense takes another step like it looked the defense did where Chad Morris is more comfortable. Got a text out of the 479 on the Cherokee Casino hotline says, do you think that Chad Morris called vanilla plays because we can only run vanilla plays, or do y'all think that he wants Ole Miss to underestimate us?
It's a good question. And really, I kind of, you can separate these, of course. Football is a game that's separated perfectly between offense and defense. Why would the offense not use any of the creativity that I think that they plan on using this weekend? But then on the defensive side, you're probably seeing some of those blitzes and schemes that you would see against some of the conference teams. I don't know if I can jibe those two things together. Why be vanilla on one side but not vanilla on the other side? Let's see what Robert in Fort Smith thinks. Robert's on the Cherokee Casino hotline. Good afternoon, Robert. What's up? Robert, are you there? Well, I think we lost Robert.
So let me see what's happening.
Oh, that's okay. Stuff happens. Stuff does happen. Other texts that have come in on the Cherokee Casino hotline. Let's see here. Sean from Greenwood tells us the line has moved to 6.5. Ole Miss by 6.5. That line just changed from Arkansas plus 7 in the last 5 minutes. And Robert, you dropped us. We didn't drop you. He's back. Robert, Fort Smith, what's up?
Real quick, guys, the vanilla thing, the way we were told was you're only running 40% of the offense anyway. And if we're only running 40% of the offense and you're running that vanilla, it was horrible. And we are just not offensive. And we all know that, but I'm repeating the obvious. But I just get tired of this vanilla thing because you can't run your offense at 40%. You're not running it right.
Yeah, Robert makes a great point, and the percentages of the playbook that's in and all of that. Look, you have the quarterback that you're comfortable with. The reason Ben Hicks is playing as your QB1 with no or between he and Nick Starkel on the game notes any longer. The reason Ben Hicks is QB1 is solely based upon knowledge of the offense. And I don't think it has to do with his physical tools. I was a little more impressed with his maybe foot speed rather than footwork throughout the game against Portland State. A couple of rushes getting away from would-be sackers. They're going to get you down if they're SEC players. Nick Starkel has more of the physical traits to be an SEC quarterback. Ben Hicks knows the offense well enough to run it the way that Chad Morris wants to. I wonder how many games at Southern Methodist did Ben Hicks run a quote-unquote vanilla offense. I would bet you, Ty Richardson, it didn't happen very often.
Yeah, because Arkansas has the athletes to, even holding back a good portion of their playbook, can still beat Portland State, as you saw on Saturday. If that was indeed the case, which I'm kind of like you, I'm taking Joe Craddock and Chad Morris at their word. You didn't have that chance to do that at SMU. If you were playing somebody, you had to pull out all the cards or you weren't going to win that football game. So I 100% agree with your point, Phil.
And again, I hate the whole idea that vanilla is bad. All of the great ice cream flavors are based upon vanilla.
Change it right now. I asked you to do this, yesterday? What did you change it to again? If we call a playbook that's dry or lackluster taste.
Stale. How about it's just stale? Stale never tastes good. Stale is a description of something that used to taste good or did taste good at one point, but no longer has that flavor. Stale. Can we just call it stale instead of vanilla?
The offense was stale or tasteless.
I'm good. I've got my change my mind planned out already for the second hour. This whole vanilla thing is really starting to irk me, especially on Double Dessert Day. What is our hashtag holiday today, Ty?
Our hashtag holiday, Phil, is Eat an Extra Dessert Day.
Eat an Extra Dessert Day, and make sure you double up on the vanilla because vanilla tastes great. You know what also is vanilla in a very tasty way? Breeden RV and Power Sports. You're going to love them because of their upfront and no-hassle pricing. Every single RV at Breeden is heavily discounted the minute it hits the lot. You are guaranteed to get the best price around. Plus, Breeden RV is the only dealership around that offers maintenance for life at no extra charge on any new travel trailer, fifth wheel, or motorhome. Go see Breeden RV today. They're on Alma Highway between Van Buren and Alma, or go to BreedenRV.com. We'll come back, and we got Clay Henry coming up in a couple of segments. It's ESPN Arkansas and HitThatLine.com.
No hidden agendas on this program. You're listening to Halftime. This is the Morning Rush.
I expect to see formations we did not see in Game 1. Listen, you think Ole Miss isn't expecting new wrinkles? Studying old SMU tape to understand what Ben Hicks, and studying old A&M tape to understand what Nick Starkel is all about? Of course they are. I'm not sure how much any of that's going to catch anyone off guard, considering everything's on tape now.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
Art's Barbecue and Burgers has the best burger in town. And every Saturday, enjoy any burger at Art's and get $1 off. Try Art's Bacon Cheeseburger, topped with house-smoked bacon, or the Art Attack with bacon, ham, and a fried egg. And all of Art's burgers come with a mound of fresh-cut fries, or upgrade to Art's homemade onion rings. $1 off all burgers every Saturday at Art's Barbecue and Burgers, 8203 Rogers Avenue, next to Aaron's in Fort Smith.
Was your roof damaged by recent storms? Don't fall victim to out-of-town contractors and fly-by-night repairmen. Trust the local roofing professionals at Able Roofing. Call their local number, 474-0006, for a free roof inspection. Never trust something as important as the roofing system on your home to a storm chaser. Able Roofing, 474-0006, will work with your insurance company. Call now for your free roof inspection, 474-0006. Able Roofing, the hometown roofers.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging, the Xerox authorized agency and dealer in the River Valley. The 29 new models of Xerox business printers and copiers represent a quantum leap forward in office technology. They are designed for the way we work today, safely and securely. They're powered by Xerox Connect Key technology. They're innovative and affordable with both black and white and color devices available. For more information, give Dixie Digital a call at 783-6600 or visit us at dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing Xerox document innovations to the River Valley.
Make-A-Wake Boat Sales and Service is not only where you can get your next Yamaha or Skeeter boat, they also carry a huge selection of bait and tackle. Find whatever floats your boat at Make-A-Wake Bait and Tackle. They carry tons of top brand lines of rods and reels and everything you need to gear up your tackle box, from Strike King, Kitech, and Zoom to Sunline and War Eagle products. Make finding your next Yamaha or Skeeter boat an easy catch with Make-A-Wake Boat Sales and Service in Van Buren, 4806 Alma Highway in Van Buren, and MakeAWakeBoats.com.
Looking to upgrade your fleet or needing professional service to your existing fleet? Carco International of Fort Smith offers the latest trucks and equipment in the industry. With over 70 years in the trucking and equipment business, they have the experience to keep you on the road. Carco International offers professional service after the sale. Carco International Parts Department supplies all makes, parts, and gives expert service. Carco International is the answer. Leave it to the pros to keep you on the road. Carco International, located at 2721 Midland Boulevard in Fort Smith.
Advanced Mechanical Performance, your premier UTV, off-road, truck, and Jeep repair facility. Whether it's a lift kit, an oil change, or a complete makeover of your machine, go see Cody and the gang at AMP and get it right the first time. These guys know what they're doing and are doing what they know. Advanced Mechanical Performance, 3201 Wheeler Avenue in Fort Smith. Call them today at 434-4161.
When the temperature starts heating up outside, it means summer is on its way. Let Pinnacle Telecom ease the heat with a brand new Name Your Speed promotion. That's right, switch your business to Pinnacle's fast fiber internet and name your internet speed. Any speed, and pay just $50 per month for internet the first 3 months. If you're under contract with the other guys, no problem. Pinnacle will honor this promotion when your term is up. Check us out at pinnacletelecom.com. Offer ends soon, some restrictions apply.
Halftime is brought to you by Coors Light, made to chill. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
The backside, Wilson. Good block by Guillermo Small. The ball is caught. Touchdown, Kobe Hamilton, who saves his best days for games in Little Rock.
A text down to the 918 area code on our Cherokee Casino hotline, making a prediction Trey Knox breaks out this week. And we, I think he means Arkansas, we win by 14 points or more, and wants to know what we think about that. Well, I'll tell you what, I think Trey Knox will have more than the one catch for 38 yards that he had against Portland State. It's interesting. He was out there a lot. I mean, he had a pretty high snap count for somebody that barely practiced for the 2 weeks leading up to the first game, but only got targeted twice. Dropped one over the middle on a third down conversion attempt, and then took what I thought was, for me, the most eye-opening pass play of the entire football game. The 38-yard strike down the middle, the longest pass play for Arkansas from Nick Starkel, and I thought we saw the sort of arm strength that you'd heard about Nick Starkel. You know, you can just see the zip out of somebody's hands. That's what I thought we saw in that one play. You think, and with Knox practicing fully this week, back to being healthy, and I think physically more than anything else, I think I don't know if you say break out, but I think Trey Knox will be a very big piece of the puzzle this weekend.
Yeah, he needs to be a good piece for Arkansas to have a chance this week. And I know that Ole Miss was able to hold Memphis to, 15 points in that football game. A lot of the conversation has been looking at the Ole Miss offense struggling, but the defense kind of stood up. And I think it's Benito Jones, who Chad Morris has been asked about several times this week, that highly rated defensive lineman that could be wreaking havoc against Arkansas if given the opportunity this week. So you got to have good pass blocking, and I think it's been mischaracterized. We'll get in this more hour number 2, what the Arkansas offensive line did this past Saturday. They weren't spectacular, but they weren't bad that many people put them at as. But as you mentioned, Trey Knox has to show up big. Traylon Burks, all these wide receivers just need to give Ben Hicks, and if Nick Starkel plays significant minutes, their quarterbacks, they need to help them out because it's still a hostile environment, and this is the do-or-die game. Regardless if Chad Morris wants to label it as a must-win, this is a must-win football game, Phil.
Well, we've got some updates from yesterday's practice. Of course, the media able to attend for 20 minutes, and a couple of the players were in green no-contact jerseys, tight end Chase Harrell and linebacker Devon McClure. You saw the play that Harrell apparently injured his shoulder with a pass that was thrown just a little bit behind and above him from Ben Hicks on the right sideline, and I couldn't tell if he landed awkwardly or if he might have injured that shoulder reaching up for the high pass, but he limped off the field. You could tell it was the right shoulder that was bothering him, but he did come back out and play afterwards, so it didn't keep him off the field, but it did keep him in a green no-contact jersey yesterday. And McClure, who's backing up at linebacker, did get in for quite a bit, had a couple of tackles, also a pass breakup, and a quarterback hurry. Also, a couple of notable absences from practice. Defensive end Jamario Bell, who now takes over at defensive end after Dorian Gerald's season-ending injury to his artery in his neck. Bell was out. Austin Capps did not practice. Capps dealing with an ankle injury, and you worry a little bit about what's going on the left side of the offensive line. I know they expect Colton Jackson to be back starting. He's been dealing with a foot injury. Capps with an ankle injury, both on that left side. As far as Bell is concerned, I think they do expect that he'll get out there and play this weekend, but Mateo Soli took snaps at end, and he also is injured. He's got what I saw was described as a club or something the size of a boxing glove, as he broke a bone in his hand Saturday and is now playing with a cast.
That shows you the toughness of football players. Say what you just said again. He broke his hand on Saturday. He fractured his hand, and yet he's still participating. Now, the gravity of the injury, you can still play, obviously, with certain injuries and certain breaking. But still, man, that's something to behold, the fact that this dude's going through it with a club on his head and still trying to play.
We're going to bring Clay Henry on in just a moment. But by the way, if you own a business that needs more security or maybe just needs more curb appeal, a fence from the Fenceman can give you both. The Fenceman specializes in custom installations, been doing it for over 40 years. They know what they're doing. Gates or controlled access card readers, that's the Fenceman. Give them a call, and they've got a quick no-obligations quote. Call Henry at 479-782-3936. That's the Fenceman, a division of Quantum Property Services. Joined by Hogs Illustrated's own Clay Henry after the break on halftime. You're listening to ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
No hidden agendas on this program. You're listening to Halftime.
We've invented a new messaging system using the crisp sounds of Bud Light. Crisp Code, Football Edition. This is how you say, game tonight. Bring Bud Light. Fantasy fees are due. That's it for today.
Brewed with no corn syrup. Bud Light, crisp. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hey, this is Ted with Ed Walker's Drive-In. For more than 70 years, Ed Walker's has been the place to go for the best French dips and hand-patted hamburgers in town. Blue Plate Specials served Monday through Friday, and we're still the home of Fort Smith's only 5-pound hamburger. We're open 10 a.m. to midnight, 7 days a week. Call ahead for pickup, 783-3352. Ed Walker's Drive-In, 1500 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith, where the legend lives on.
Metal Mart offers high-quality prefabricated metal buildings, metal roofing, custom trim shops, carports, and more. They strive to be a company where contractors as well as do-it-yourselfers are welcome. Metal Mart assists you in calculating the materials needed to complete your project, all at a rate you can afford. They have locations in Fort Smith, Mayflower, Jonesboro, Pine Bluff, and Little Rock. Or you can find them online at metalmarts.com. Metal Mart, the right material for the right price.
Mentor's Lumber True Value has a simple way to help rid your home of pesky insects. Right now, get a 1.1-gallon jug of Ortho Home Defense Insect Killer for just $9.99 after a $3 in-state rebate for True Value Rewards members while supplies last. This easy-to-use spray with ergonomic handle and extended reach wand kills existing bugs and prevents new bugs from entering your home, all in a single application. Find this bargain of the month and other great deals at Metters Lumber True Value. Certain exclusions apply. See store for details.
I'm Lisa Hinton, owner of Champ Hinton Enterprises. For nearly 50 years, the Champ Hinton name has stood for one thing: selling quality cars in a different way, taking the mumbo jumbo out of the process and making customers happy. All these years and tens of thousands of cars later, we're still here, doing business the way Champ Hinton taught us, selling to generations of families who've become part of our family. Champ Hinton Enterprises, the area's premier used car dealer. Take the Arcoma exit off I-540 or go online at champhinton.com.
At Chambers Bank, our Arkansas roots grow deep, and you can trust us as your partner for every banking need. From a simple checking account to your first home loan, whatever you need, big or small, we are here for you. With 18 convenient branches throughout the state and a full suite of online banking options, we will always be available when you need us. Family owned in Arkansas since 1930, Chambers is your full-service community bank. Bank with trust at Chambers Bank. Member FDIC, equal housing lender, NMLS 631520.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
And Derby's got the first down. A.J. Derby then hits the speed. How about that? Did he stay in? Touchdown, Arkansas!
Going to the House of Henry. Clay Henry joining us from Hogs Illustrated. Appreciate him as always on a Wednesday. Clay, I know you're in Fayetteville today. What's going on up there?
Well, I am working on a project. It's kind of a labor of love with Matt Jones and Chip Souza. It's we're approving a book on the history of Arkansas high school football that we've been working on for most of the summer. It's kind of nice when you see a project come together like this. It's a fantastic project too.
Do you have anything that you do that is not a labor of love? Because I know you for fishing. I know you for sports writing. I think that you love everything that you do, and you've got a passion for the things you do. I mean, you drive it all over the state, picking up beautiful cars and stuff like that. I mean, do you ever do something you don't enjoy?
Probably not. I'm very, very lucky and excited to get up, and it's. I know that there are people that think that I don't really work for a living, and that's okay. And I will say that 3 hours after the game Saturday night, I was still in the press box writing. So everybody's all off to their parties, and that's when I'm doing my thing. So that's okay. My wife understands that probably better than anybody. I'm not home yet. I'll be home soon. But yeah, I love doing what I got to tell you a story. I was rolling down around the Mulberry River and ran into on a dirt road trying to pick up pictures of John Outlaw, and ran into a Harley Davidson biker group, and they had the road blocked, and I got out, and they were lost because there was no GPS, no cell phone, and I've got rod vaults on the roof of my truck that hold my fly rods. Well, they kind of look like rocket launchers, and the Harley bikers is like, "You ruled this valley, right?" I was like, "Well, yeah, I guess." He says, "What caliber are those?" I said, "Well, they're 5-weights," which that's what they are, 5-weight fly rods. And one of them is, "You can wipe out a whole herd of deer with those babies." I said, "You betcha."
Goodness,
so I do have fun. You're right, Phil.
It's quite the picture, though, you paint. You know, running into a Harley Davidson biker gang with no cell service, and they are the ones who need your help to get their way out. By the way, I also give you points. I left you open. You know, I asked if there's anything you do that you don't enjoy. You for a moment there, I thought you were going to say going on your radio show. But thanks for not saying that.
No, that's fine too. There's no real prep work for that. I just come and visit with friends, and that's always fun, Phil. Ty. I've been lucky to do this radio for about 24 years. First 12 years with Chuck Barrett, and then 12 with Bo. So you guys have stuck with me for 12 years. That's kind of how long I go with shows. So, if y'all will keep me around, I'll look forward to this every Wednesday.
All right, so we'll see if we're still doing this thing in the year 2031. So
Yeah.
I want to ask a question about line play. From what we saw this past weekend, and I'm not even sure how to make that translate to what you can see this weekend against Ole Miss. But Arkansas looks like, I thought, a solid defensive line, but I wonder how you think Dorian Gerald's injury affects them. It now gives an opening for Jamario Bell, if he's healthy. I know he wasn't practicing yesterday, to start, maybe make an impact his last year on the Hill. But you have said, I mean, good teams can be built on strong defensive line play. So what do you make of the situation going on the defensive line right now?
Well, they have some depth there, but it's really young. Even though Bell's an older guy, he hasn't really made a huge impact. Now, he played a lot late last year. He is so immensely talented and has those long arms and can do some things that frustrate quarterbacks because of his length. His ability to play in the run is what you question. He's a natural pass rusher. He's played at outside linebacker and hasn't played a lot at end. So he's going to get his chance, but I also think you're going to see these freshmen. Now, they had these three seniors, and then there's nothing in between all the way to 4 or 5 of the freshmen that were really the headliners in this class, along with the freshman wide receivers. So you've got Zach Williams, you've got Mateo Soli, you've got Eric Gregory and Colin Clay. These guys will play. I kind of remind you to a few years ago when they put Trey Flowers out there, maybe a little before he was supposed to, but it was baptism under fire. Texas A&M and Alabama, where you got your first glimpse. So at least they've got several of these. It doesn't just have to be Flowers. They can get their feet wet little by little, it's talent, it's pure speed on these guys, but it's also going to be a situation where I'm sure they make mistakes, and you can give up big plays by not being in the right position on the edge, and so that's what you worry about, Bill, is how many mistakes the young ones made. I think Richardson and Bell will be solid, but you can't just make it with 2 guys. And you obviously put yourself in position where another injury means one of those freshmen is first.
Talking with Clay Henry, the publisher of Hogs Illustrated here on the Cherokee Casino Hotline. Clay, a lot of people are pointing to this Ole Miss game as what could be the turning point for this season for Chad Morris. And if you look back to the Brett Bielema era, some people thought he turned the corner after the LSU game or the Texas win in the Texas Bowl. Some people say Auburn in 2015. Why do you think Brett Bielema never turned the corner wholeheartedly while he was at Arkansas?
Well, how much time do you have, Ty?
Because
I think I can
8
go
minutes.
for about an hour and a half. It's not one thing. It's not just, okay, I'll give you a few bullet points. Number 1, recruiting. And it did not do well or go well in the state of Texas for whatever reason. And I think you can go back and remember that speech he made to the Texas High School Coaches Association, where he's 2 things. One, he's like, you got to play with the fullback, and we play with the fullback. None of y'all do. The intimation was, I'm better than you guys. I know football, y'all don't. And then all at once the door was closed in recruiting. There was one year where Arkansas signed one player out of the state of Texas, and he was a kicker, Cole Hedlund. And that just doesn't make any sense to me. So then the bullet point 2 was the change in coaching staff. The group that he came to Arkansas with is not the group that he finished with, whether Charlie Partridge, Sam Pittman, Chris Ash, you just keep going down the list. Jim Chaney. I know there were probably some people that weren't Chaney fans, but he was a good offensive coordinator. But you better have recruiters and you better have solid coaches. And in every time when he changed coaches, it seemed like there was a drop off, and didn't maybe know that it was happening at the time. But when you look back and you analyze it, man to man, that staff didn't get it done on recruiting. And I think Dan Enos is a good play caller. But if you look, the quarterbacks that he signed and that were here on campus outside of Brandon Allen and Austin Allen, none of those guys are a part of the program at this point. I guess Dalton Hyatt still is, but he's at wide receiver and injured. The quarterbacks that were around here, Taylor Powell's at Missouri, Mason Fine down at North Texas, that was right across the river. For whatever reason, Dan Enos didn't think they were tall enough, and I don't think they're any different than, say, height-wise, that some of the other quarterbacks that have done well here at Arkansas, like Clint Sterner, or y'all can find some others that are 6'1", 6 foot. That's just a couple of major bullet points, but it's when you talk about recruiting, you're talking about the most important thing a coach does. And I don't really care that much about style of play so much. I think you can be good however, but you better have the players and especially linemen, offensive linemen, defensive linemen, and that appears to be where they didn't hit their numbers or ability wise.
So, Clay, we're at a point where the fan base is looking to blame someone, looking for the players that they aren't playing hard enough or playing smart enough, looking at the coaches that they aren't good enough, looking at the past regimes that got them to this point. If of the 4 coaches as of late, Bobby P., John L. Smith, Brett Bielema, and then now currently Chad Morris, is there one that particularly should hold the amount of the blame or the most weight when it comes to where the state of the football program is right now?
Oh, I think they all had a hand in it. I mean, it's there any doubt that you got to last year and you were at an all-time low as far as SEC talent. Now I'll go back to what it was in '92 when recruiting had slumped, probably at the end of the Hatfield era and the start of the Crow era, and that they were starting. I can remember sitting down before the first issue of Hogs Illustrated in 1992, that summer. Jack Crow said he was really looking forward to seeing what Hogs Illustrated could do to perhaps help the program, and he said, I want you to make our star players household names. And I said, great. Tell me who the star players were. He goes, we don't have any. and he was right on target. There weren't any. And you better have players. And if you go around the SEC, it's like the old days, you're playing Texas every week. And if you have a slump in talent, you're gonna have to pay. It's a hard battle to get it back, and it can't be done in 1 year or 2 years. You're gonna have to put 2 or 3 classes together and then get them in the weight room and have some men. So, I've written my keys to victory for the Ole Miss game, and it's centered on an interview that I did with a former player, and his view is it's going to be a hard fix, and that they might win 5 or 6 games this year, but there's no shortcut. The millennials think you can find a shortcut. There's no shortcut in business. There's no shortcut in the SEC. It's hard work, year after year after year, and it'll come together finally if you just continue to work.
Maybe there was no shortcut for that group of bikers that you were trying to get back to the highway. Maybe the no shortcuts thing works in every way possible.
I showed them the way. They didn't necessarily want to be on that dirt road on their bikes. But I told them they only had 6 miles to go, and they did ask me if I rule in that valley, and I said pretty much.
Let me ask about maybe what you think of what I think will be a key to the game, and that's the ability to make Matt Corral very unsafe and uncomfortable in the backfield. And I thought that the way John Chavis blitzed, especially using the safeties, you have a chance to do that and get a freshman quarterback who didn't look comfortable against Memphis. Maybe have the same thing happen this Saturday. Where do you put the blitz against Ole Miss on your keys?
Yeah, I think that you're going to see. I mean, if John Chavis is not blitzing, it also probably means that he got up on a different side of the bed than normal, because he's gonna blitz coming out of the bed, coming away from dinner, coming away from lunch. That's just his DNA. Where they bring it from, I saw some corner blitzes, I saw safeties, I saw weak side linebackers blitz, and you have to be a little careful when somebody's playing a zone read option, because you can let somebody out the gate. But inexperienced quarterbacks usually get blitzed. I think that's how they handle it determines whether you keep blitzing or not. That is, can they disrupt with even some run blitzes, those zone reads, and hit those mesh points with blitzes? I'm talking about as they're trying to read that option. If they can come down on that play, might force some turnovers, right, guys?
Well, that would be a nice thing to see, a very nice thing to see, Clay, and hopefully we're talking about a victory when we have you on next Wednesday. Thanks, as always, for coming on. It's enjoyable, and have a great week, Clay.
Thanks, Ty. Thanks, Bill. Enjoy it.
Clay Henry, publisher, Hogs Illustrated, of course, writes for Whole Hog Sports as well. All right, we'll come back, wrap up the first hour of halftime after the break on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
No hidden agendas on this program. You're listening to Halftime.
Massey Ferguson tractors have arrived at Bush Machine and Tractor. Bush Machine and Tractor is proud to be the newest Massey Ferguson dealer in western Arkansas, providing you with the full lineup of versatile Massey Ferguson tractors. They're built with straightforward power, smart fuel economy, and upgraded control and comfort. Stop by and find a new Massey Ferguson perfectly sized to fit your property or farm at Bush Machine and Tractor, 7301 South 0 Street in Fort Smith, or visit us online at bushtractor.com.
I bet you're ready to finish that warm weather renovation. Whether you are a do-it-yourself remodeler or a full-time contractor, the paint store in Van Buren is friendly and special orders are no bother. Sue and Vicki, with over 30 years of experience, welcomes all your painting questions and will help you feel confident in your choices of colors from Richards Paint. The paint store is at 1414 Fayetteville Road in Van Buren. Come see them or check them out on Facebook today.
Is your home at least 10 years old and served by OG&E? OG&E is offering Arkansas customers a free weatherization program to increase your comfort and lower your bills. A trained crew will perform an energy audit at no cost to you, and if your home qualifies, our crews will install measures that will save you money. The services provided through this program are absolutely free to qualifying homes. If you could benefit from free home weatherization improvements, call OG&E at 1-800-272-9741. That's 1-800-272-9741.
The Catfish Kitchen at the top of Logtown Hill in Van Buren has lunch specials every weekday from 11 till 2, starting at only $7.99. Try the 3-piece catfish filet dinner with hand-cut fries and all the fixins. It's only $11.29. And the Catfish Kitchen is more than catfish. Try their shrimp dinners, cooked any way you like it. Chicken tenders, crab cakes, or one of their po' boy sandwiches. The Catfish Kitchen, open Tuesday through Sunday 11 till 9 at 727 Fayetteville Road at the top of Logtown Hill, across from the police station in Van Buren. For 37 years, Burton Pools and Spas has been showing you how to get your feet wet without getting in over your head. And now in-ground pools are more affordable than ever at Burton Pools and Spas. For a limited time, pick one of 4 shapes and sizes of Burton's special Graph-X polymer pools, the strongest pool in the industry, installed for only $29,950. Invest in your family this summer and turn your backyard into the place the whole family wants to be. Burton's will walk you through the whole process, from selecting the right pool for your yard to picking the right pumps and equipment to make your pool easy to maintain, plus decking and more. All this installed for under $30,000. If you've always dreamed of having your own pool but didn't think you could afford one, now is the time. During the spring sale at Burton Pools and Spas. Also ask about a free spa with the purchase of their Platinum Package. Your own in-ground pool for under $30,000 from Burton Pools and Spas, 6121 0 Street in Fort Smith, or online at burtonpools.com. Burton Pools and Spas, your source for backyard fun for over 37 years.
The weather is hot and the deals are hotter at Hertz Car Sales. Hertz offers a wide selection of high-quality cars, SUVs, or trucks, and amazing customer service where you can buy direct and save on every car. With inventory arriving daily, why not make the short drive to 2810 Midland Boulevard or give them a call at 783-1722. You can also check them out on the web at buyfromhertz.com. Proud to serve Fort Smith and the River Valley. Stop by Hertz Car Sales today. You'll be glad you did.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Halftime is brought to you by Coors Light, made to chill. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Here's Jones on a keeper. Out over the 40 to midfield. Matt Jones may take it to the house. And the dunk.
Ty Richardson put on our rundown here. He wants to talk about the contract extension for Ezekiel Elliott with the Dallas Cowboys. 6 years, $90 million extension, highest paid running back in the league. It can total up to $103 million over 8 years, half of that being guaranteed. All right, we got to that stuff. How about this tweet from Charlie, our friend at Real Woo Pig? And you heard, and I'm going to get into this in the next segment for Change My Mind a little bit. This whole vanilla thing. Vanilla's getting a bad rap because of the way that everybody's casting light on the way the offense was run by Arkansas on Saturday against Portland State. Vanilla tastes good. I think vanilla's tasty. And Charlie here has some ideas as to the other tasteless foods that maybe would overtake vanilla for bad rap on what the offense looked like, or at least the play calling. Boiled ribs. The play calling was very, very plain hot dog. This is my favorite one, and this is the one I think you're really looking for. The play calling was very ice popsicle, because that's tasteless. There's no taste to it whatsoever. Vanilla is sweet. Vanilla is rich, just like chocolate. Ice popsicle, there's no taste whatsoever.
I would eat a lot of the things on that list, but ice popsicle doesn't pop out at me, and it wouldn't really get me to go eat one of those suckers.
Charlie continues, the play calling was very soybean hamburger or very room temperature wine cooler. A really bad White Claw, Ty Richardson. Yes, there is such a thing as a bad White Claw. All right, that's our first hour. Back with the second hour next on ESPN Arkansas. HitThatLine.com.
Kids are back in school, fall is just around the corner, and at Breeden RV that means one thing, camping season. With deals on new travel trailers up to $13,000 off and new fifth wheels up to $20,000 off, you'll see why Breeden RV is the area's fastest growing RV dealership. And you'll have peace of mind when you buy from Breeden RV because every new RV comes with maintenance for life. So stop by today at Breeden RV on Alma Highway between Van Buren and Alma, or visit us on the web at BreedenRV.com. Breeden RV, home of maintenance for life.
Drop off the bumper. Kids run. Downpour. To the bank, go to work, pick up squirrel. Kids, then go home. With Michelin tires, you'll be ready for the unexpected. And for a limited time, get up to $100 via reward card after submission with purchase of 4 new 18-inch or larger Michelin tires, or $50 via reward card after submission with purchase of 4 new Michelin tires 17 inches and smaller.
Get where you need to be with Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 at exit 14 in Fort Smith.
See MichelinMan.com/promo for complete details. Offer expires 9/19/19. Void where prohibited.
If you're a landowner, hobby farmer, or full-time farmer, Bush Machine and Tractor knows how important this time of year is for you. So make the most of it with a brand new Branson tractor. Offering tractors from 19 to 105 horsepower, they have the tractor that's right for you. Make the most of your time this year and ask about their special financing options and free loader rebates. Arkansas's #1 Branson dealer is Bush Machine and Tractor in Fort Smith. Check out their inventory at bushtractor.com.
Right now, I'm holding a perfectly ice-cold Coors Light. You know how I know it's the perfect temperature? Because the mountain on the can is blue. And also, it's really cold. Every Coors Light is cold filtered, cold lagered, and cold packaged. So make sure the mountain on your can of Coors Light is blue, because that means it's ready to enjoy. Coors Light, as cold as the Rockies. Available down the street. 2019 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Joe's Grill and Cantina is the only place to watch the Hogs. Watch every game at Joe's. Enjoy half-price apps and taps during the game. And with TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat. Half-price appetizers like brisket nachos, Mexican pizza, 10-layer dip, or Joe's humongous sampler platter. All half price. And all beers on tap are half price. Watch every Hog game at Joe's. Half-price apps and taps during every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina. 3400 South 74th Street across from Harps.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Mainly clear sky, and overnight low will drop down into the upper 60s. We should see tons of sunshine Wednesday. High temperatures upper 80s north, mid 90s south. Thursday, a whole lot of sunshine, upper 80s to low 90s. And then as we head into Friday, lots of sunshine or high in the low to mid 90s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Weather is brought to you by OG&E Weatherization Program for Arkansas customers with homes at least 10 years old. Call 1-800-272-9741 for details or log on at OGE.com.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Bush and Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3.
It's what I always listen to.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas! I love everything here! Give me that thing here! Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
This is Halftime.
Man, that ball got out of here in a hurry.
With Phil Elson.
You do a fantastic job on the radio. There's no one else in this league I'd rather listen to, so keep up the good work.
And Ty Richardson.
Guys do a good job, and I listen to you guys.
2 more quarters, and after that, most of you will never play this game again.
D-Mac! Hold on, Matt Ryan! D-Mac not looking back. Touchdown!
How about that Heisman, Mark Jones?
How do you like
wide open again.
All right, hold on. It's almost halftime.
I want to give our phone number first here, our Cherokee Casino hotline, because we're getting into Change My Mind here. And we had a lot of people text in or even call in with a Get Off My Lawn yesterday. So we're going to experiment a little bit here because we want your input. We want you to tell us something that we can maybe or maybe not change your mind about. So it's 877-377-6963 to get with me, Phil Elson, and him, Ty Richardson, and you on the Cherokee Casino hotline. So let's get right to it. Change my mind.
I changed my mind.
Hi, Joey.
Hey, how you doing?
He won't sell anybody out to buy his future.
How can you be so obtuse? What did you call me? Obtuse. Is it deliberate? Son, you are forgetting yourself.
Change my mind.
All right, so you heard I'm here. I mentioned this yesterday. I'm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, my hometown where I was born. I feel like I've got 2 hometowns. One is Pittsburgh, and the other is the entire state of Arkansas. So I'm in Pittsburgh doing the show in my old bedroom that I slept in until the age of 7. The reason I'm here, my grandmother passed away late last week at the age of 95. She lived a full life. It's not one of those deaths that is a tragedy. There are certainly some that are. This is not one of them. This is more of a celebration. And I did appreciate the texts and the tweets for the solace. But I'm choosing to look at this in a positive light rather than the negative light. But that's why I'm here in Pittsburgh. And so while I'm here, I feel like I need to bring my friend Ty Richardson something. I mean, there's a lot of things you can bring from the Steel City to anybody, and usually it has black and gold on it because this is the only professional sports town where all of the teams that at least has 3 teams, Penguins, Pirates, Steelers, all have the same color scheme. And, oh, by the way, the city flag is also black and gold. So, I mean, usually the souvenirs come in those 2 colors. But I don't want to bring Ty a Steelers jersey. I don't want to bring him a gag Steelers jersey with Antonio Brown on the back or anything like that. He doesn't need a terrible towel, which, to be all honest, he's probably just going to use it to clean his bathroom the one time a year that it gets done. I think what Ty Richardson needs is food from this city, and food that is not just specific to this city. You know, I'm not bringing you pierogies. I'm not going to bring you a fried fish sandwich. I'm thinking about, and I'd have to figure out how to get this done. And maybe it would turn black and gold depending on how much mold is on it. But I think that the best Pittsburgh souvenir for me to bring you is a Permane sandwich. You know, the sandwiches that are made with the Italian bread, the meat, the cheese, the coleslaw, and then the giant handful of fresh-cut French fries on the top. Oh, you could see, that's a hungry guy right there. He has not eaten his lunch yet. He knows where he's going afterwards, right after the show, and then probably taking a long nap after that because of what he's going to eat. But this is somebody that is prime for the picking as far as dangling something delicious right in front of his nose, which I would say, Ty, a fresh Permane sandwich is really a beautiful thing to smell, and maybe it's the anticipation that brings the beauty to your mind. But I don't know how good a week-old Permane sandwich is going to smell or taste or look. But that's what I'm thinking of bringing you. I think a week-old Permane sandwich that has aged just a little bit would be the perfect Pittsburgh souvenir for you. Change my mind.
I can't really differ with you on that, Phil. I'm a foodie. I say that I'm not a foodie. I like food. There's a difference between a foodie. Foodies are like fancy, kind of old. What's the way to describe them? They're fancy. They like fancy foods. I just like food, man. I don't really care what it is. I like hole in the walls. I'm not a huge fancy restaurant guy. I like good stuff. And Permane Brothers, I don't know how many times I've watched Guy Fieri on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Drives, or Adam Richmond, or just different Food Network people go and eat there. And so I haven't been to Pittsburgh, your hometown, and then our buddy Max Hers' hometown, and both of you have talked about that sandwich. So I feel like it would be just a rite of passage for me if you brought one of those suckers home. And even if it's a week old, I'll do my best to scarf it all down.
That's good. You know, the other thing that I think Pittsburgh is known for in a way, and I didn't realize this until I moved away, there's an actual way to cook a steak that is named for Pittsburgh, and I wonder how rare will you eat your steak, Ty? And it's called Pittsburgh Rare. It's on the living side of rare. You know what I mean? You take the slab of meat, you sear it on one side, you sear it on the other side, and you serve it. It's pretty much still looking at you when you're eating it. Would you eat that?
So we got that when I was waiting tables in Nashville at Outback. We got that order once a week, once every 2 weeks. And no, I'm not a big fan of that. I like medium burgers, medium steak.
Not living Pittsburgh Rare meat.
Yeah, when you have to have the warning sign at the bottom of your menu, consuming raw or undercooked meats could result in foodborne illness or food illness. That's probably one I want to stay away from. So I like to get to a point where I'm not nearing that category of possibly getting sick by eating something just because I'm too stubborn about it. I don't know, man. That's just not eating it that rare is not for me. I've never been attracted to my meat being cooked like that.
So instead of this being change my mind, it's change my palate.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, what do you got first?
All right, so my first one, and you got a kick out of this reading it on the rundown when I placed today. I'm driving to work this morning, and I think the congregation got started because one of my buddies in my friend group from college is probably going to propose to his girlfriend sometime soon. So I was just driving to work, and my mind often wanders when I'm heading into work. I think about the most random stuff, whether it's food, whether it's just personal, spiritual, whatever, man. So I was like, man, I feel like choosing the wife's going to be easy. It's just going to be like a metal detector. God's just going to be like, here, beep, 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 beep. Like that's going to be the easy part. I'm not too worried about that. But I feel like the more difficult part of the whole marriage process, and not really marriage, but the wedding portion of the whole shebang, is picking out your groomsmen. And it starts with how many does your wife want? How many bridesmaids and a maid of honor is your bride having? And
theoretically, you've got to equal the number, right? You know, the one side has to equal the other side. You got to balance it out.
Balance it out. Some like 10, some like 6, some like really small weddings or whatever. So you got to start from there. I've been at friends' weddings where they've had massive amounts of bridesmaids and groomsmen, and then smaller portions. So it's kind of up to there. So you start there, what you want. And she's like, I just want 5, sweetie. We're going to have to change that because I got more than 5 good friends that I want to stack up there. Then I was thinking about it. So I've been in Fort Smith for a little over a year now. I've got to know a lot of dudes up here that have become what I call pretty good friends. And then I have my college buddies, a few high school buddies, and my friend group is kind of not multiplying, but it's getting bigger and bigger, and it's going to be more difficult because the amount of friends that I have to choose from is going to be more difficult. And then I got my brother, who is an automatic. He's probably not the best man, but he's an automatic groomsman. And then you and me, man, we're going to be good friends. So I feel like out of disrespect, I might have to toss you into the groom crew.
You sure you want to ruin your relationship before it's even started, Ty?
Hey, I just want my good buddy Phil Elson to at least be a part of it. Would you be offended if I offered you to be an usher? Would that make you mad if I did that? Because you know some dudes just don't ask me to be in the wedding. Just let me come as just a guest instead of being an usher. Is that do you take offense if someone asked you to be an usher in their wedding, Phil?
No, I wouldn't take offense to it. I would start writing the speech right then and there. And this is where it would really test the strength and resolve of your of your upcoming marriage to somebody that we haven't even met yet, by the way, Ty.
Yeah, that's not even, and I'm not dating anyone. I haven't been dating anyone. This is just way out. I've already got the timeline. It's 5 or so years when I start maturing and doing all that stuff, whatever.
I feel like you could change the name of this segment from Change My Mind to Cart Before the Horse.
Or Make Up My Mind, or Tell Me How to Live My Life.
Or How Do I Meet a Woman? I mean, you've had some moments on this show where you've asked me, what's the right line to use, at a bar? How do I go up and talk to somebody? And it's like, sometimes I don't even know how to answer these questions. But this, to me, is the premier example of cart before the horse.
Yeah.
And I understand what you're
doing,
too.
Way before the horse.
Well, I mean, there's pressure that is put on you for this decision or series of decisions as to where you're almost like you're ranking friends. And it puts you in an awkward situation. I understand that.
Because, I mean, I'm going to be in a situation coming up here soon that I don't know where what the numbers are going to be, or if I'm going to be in this dude's wedding or this dude's wedding or whatever. So you got to calculate all that too. My dad just texted me, and my brother-in-laws are going to be the wedding. Love Ben, love Chad. Probably not going to be groomsmen in the wedding. Don't hang out with them.
Look, the pressure's already being put upon you by your own father. It is starting already, thanks to this segment.
Exactly.
I guess before the horse.
It's 100% on me for doing this. And then you have to balance out the knuckleheads and the responsible ones, because you want a good balance of groomsmen. You want ones that are going to have fun, that are going to think of things outside the box, but are not necessarily the most responsible. And then you want the ones that'll hold down the fort to make sure that the wedding doesn't hit the fan. And there's a word that typically goes before that, but you want a balance of both. And it's hard, man. You got to have that steady and I say it's hard. I've never experienced going through a wedding process unless I'm on the other side of things. But it's a process. So I guess what it boils down to, Phil, is the change my mind I'm trying to get to after this long, convoluted conversation is it's going to be harder for me to pick out my groomsmen than decide who I'm going to end up marrying. Change my mind.
Well, again, the first thing you have to be able to do is know how to meet people, and you're already in a position where you're good at meeting guys. How many friends have you made since you moved to Fort Smith? You can count me amongst these friends.
You count
since we've been doing this show for almost exactly a year, and I feel like we're more than just co-hosts. I think that we're friends on this radio show and outside it as well. And by the way, you can exclude me from the group of ushers if you have to, and I will not take offense to it.
Okay.
So I also want to there's a caveat to throw in here, okay? You're asking advice about a wedding from somebody that is divorced and also is upfront about this. Remember, I was telling our friend Aaron Torres, who has returned from his Maui honeymoon, the same place where I had my honeymoon, and I told him, you know what? You and I are talking. We're having this conversation about watching sports on your honeymoon. I did the same thing in the same island, and that marriage, wasn't necessarily the happiest one. So again, take that for what it's worth. I don't know if it's worth very much, but I think you're really good at meeting guys. And guys sometimes are very easy to blend together and turn into friends, and it's, you got to find the way to meet the girl. Maybe it's not necessarily is it choosing the groomsman harder than choosing the wife? Because part of this is also, you don't choose your wife. You choose each other. You choose your groomsmen, and they say yes. They don't say no. These are two completely different decisions that you're making. One of them isn't even a decision. It's a feeling, a feeling. We all expect the first time that you've never fallen in love before, you expect the clouds will part, the sun shines right in on her beautiful hair, and it's glowing and golden and sparkling. And the truth is, it doesn't always happen that way. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really always happen that way. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time to figure out if if this person is really, the one for you.
Well, I've told you the timeline on the whole wife situation, right? My little sister has a bunch of cute friends, and the timeline when I get mature, they're going to be like right out of college. So perfect.
I just think the one thing I wonder is, like, I bring up Lovely Lady on the show quite a bit. Will you bring up whomever it is that you start dating whenever it happens? Will you bring her up on the show? Will you be as open with your love life as I've been about mine?
Well, I think it depends on what her work hours would be. Like if she lives here, if she listens often.
So if she doesn't listen, you'll talk about her quite a bit. I have a feeling, though, she will be listening, because it's one of the reasons she's going to be attracted to you, Ty. It's for your lovely voice and your incredible, enthusiastic intelligence that you display 2 hours a day on halftime.
I thought it was my kind eyes. Does the lovely lady listen to us? I know she has before, but on a regular basis, though.
She listens on a regular basis between, meetings and things going on in the office. She does listen.
Okay.
By the way, Bruce from Fort Smith asks about the possibility of including, quote, those who text the show, unquote, for groomsmen. Are they our friends as well? I feel like we're growing a really good relationship with these texters on the Cherokee Casino hotline.
I don't know if it's that. I don't know if the relationship's that deep, though.
I feel like I might have changed your mind a little bit here, because they're different decisions, and it's much more difficult to find the quote-unquote one than it is to find, I think, the 5 or the 6 that are going to stand up there and wear the penguin suit in your honor.
I guess it's one of those things where, what do you think? It's balancing it down from 20 or balancing down? Because there's probably a few girls in my lifetime eventually, and there's maybe 1 or 2 in years past that I'd consider, but it's narrowing down the numbers, because you got to narrow down 20 to like 6 or 8, and you narrow down 3 or 4 to 1. So it's just kind of the balance you have to play there. Which odds do you like better? That's what it comes down to, Phil.
Grizz and Barling puts it very well here, and I think this has turned from a sports show into a love connection show for a brief moment here, a little relationship advice. These things go together, by the way, because you're probably ruining some relationships on Saturdays watching so much college football. Grizz and Barling says, timelines put pressure on you, and that screws up letting love happen and bloom. Matters of the heart can't be timed. Grizz, you are a brilliant person, and you have a great perspective on exactly this. And then Bruce asks, Eddie from Clarksville gets to give the toast, doesn't he? Oh, yes.
Not opposed to that.
With a bell and a whistle. Pretty please.
That would just be the ultimate sports radio wedding right there, if Eddie in Clarksville was allowed to do that. So.
Be awesome. I mean, to actually invite people that we've never met in person, but we feel we've got like a strong relationship with, which I feel we're getting with some of these listeners and callers and texters that are becoming part of this show. Our text from the 918 says, me and my coworker are good friends, and I'm not going to make the cut for his wedding, and he drops an LOL on that. Another person here, Russell in Mountain Home, texts in, he tells you to elope. He says elope. And let me tell you what, for somebody that's been through it once, and I did have the big wedding the first time around. I mean, we had, I think it was 6 on each side for the party, and then it was a pretty large wedding. The second time around, that stuff ain't happening, man. It's like, let's go to the courthouse. Let's do this. It's all about just you and me. This is not about making anybody else happy. It's about you and me. So I think I might agree with Russell from Mountain Home that says, elope, take the pressure off of you, and at the same time, it probably pisses off some of your family members.
Phil, I was talking to my uncle who lives in Dallas, and they had, I think it was on a country station, they had this segment, it was first date, like how bad it was. I can't remember the name of the segment, but callers would call in and tell the host how bad their first date was, and then the date recipient, whether it was a guy or girl, had to call back and give them reasons for what happened and why they should be given a second chance. And most of the time they weren't given a second chance, but every once in a while it was funny to just hear these different stories of the different dates calling in and say like just how bad they ended up being. So I guess this is kind of our version of a segment like that.
Well, there was one wedding that I was a part of, not actually being in the wedding, but that I kind of wonder if this couple has lasted the test of time. And it's right out of Bull Durham, where one of the players gets married on the field before the game. This was I was working for a California League team, year 2000, at the All-Star break. One of our pitchers married a girl that he had just met about 2 or 3 months before. That was before he'd been called up to our level. So she moved from Beloit, Wisconsin, to Stockton, California. She'd known this guy for like 3 months, and they got married on the field during the All-Star break. I was the videographer. You know, it's like the infielders were the groomsmen. I don't remember any bridesmaids being there. This was 19 years ago, and I would be very surprised. I would be not surprised. I'd be very interested to find out what happened from that marriage. You know, by the way, the largest wedding party I was ever a part of, 24 people. 24 people, 12 aside. Does that sound ridiculous or what?
Wow.
Yes, that's a wow.
Holy
That's exactly right. And Bruce from Fort Smith wants Michael from Stuttgart to give odds on the marriage lasting. See, you can bet on anything, can't you? You can bet on absolutely anything.
So I guess we have to get to a point where you and I are still doing this show together, and if my love life ever picks up any steam down the road next 5 years or so, then we got to rehash this conversation, because this is definitely a best of. Like I'm stocking this sucker away, this segment, but we definitely have to go over some of the stuff we talked about and then formulate it, and then whether it's odds, whether it's who we're going to invite, whether it's kind of the advice you gave, we rehash it a little bit, and we're getting up to that point, Phil.
I feel like it needs to be eventually we'll have a wedding on the show. I don't know if it would be listeners that fall in love on the show, or if, you know, myself and lovely lady might be trending in that direction properly over the next, few months or in the next year, whatever. We got to do it on the show.
Is she listening right now?
She might be. I don't know if she is or not. I'm not saying this just to make her happy. It just happens to be the truth that I might have found the one, and I think it would be really neat to not do it on a Saturday at night, to do it on the show, in front of all of our listeners' ears, and then see if that marriage lasts a day after
who's
that.
Who's the sucker that not the pastor, but what's the proper wedding term for giving you not giving you away? What's it called? Who
walks you down the aisle?
No, not that. Who is the marriage not counselor? What is the dude that? Oh man, this is gonna
wedding official.
Yeah, the official pastor. Same thing. Can I not give you away, but I pronounce you husband and wife. What's that? Ordain you. Can I ordain the marriage?
Well, you'd have to be ordained in order to do this. I have a feeling we're just going to do it in front of a judge.
You take a class.
If there are any judges listening right now, maybe we need your services. Boy, this truly is a segment that is called Cart Before the Horse. There's no doubt about that. And John in Nashville makes our final point, and a great point, by the way, Ty, for what we talked about yesterday for Get Off My Lawn. John in Nashville says, you can't talk about your bathroom habits one show and then looking for your future wife the next. And that, my friend, is a text to walk off on.
That's sports radio in a box right there, Phil.
Don't walk off on Breeden RV and Power Sports, though. You're going to love them because of their upfront and no-hassle pricing. Every single RV at Breeden is heavily discounted the minute it hits their lot, and you're guaranteed to get the best price around. Plus, Breeden RV is the only dealership around that offers maintenance for life at no extra charge on any new travel trailer, fifth wheel, or motorhome. So go see Breeden RV today on Alma Highway between Van Buren and Alma, or make it easy, go to BreedenRV.com. Back with more halftime on a Wednesday, and get with us if you got more for Change My Mind. 877-377-6963. That's the Cherokee Casino hotline. We're on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
No hidden agendas on this program. You're listening to Halftime. This is the Morning Rush.
You got to be able to recruit with the big boys. He at least understands that. He at least knows that. And he's trying his best to execute that plan. Chad Morris, if he can just transition it onto the field, translate it onto the field to success, he's got all the other pieces, and he has all the other understandings of what it takes to be a great coach in this league.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
Now is the time to book your fundraising and corporate golf outings for 2019 at Eagle Crest Golf Course. Call Eagle Crest now before all the best dates are gone. 479-632-8857. Eagle Crest Golf Course, voted best of the best golf course 2 years in a row. Let their staff take care of everything, from help with your tournament as well as food and beverage service. If you're looking for a place to host your corporate or charity event this year, call Eagle Crest Golf Course, 479-632-8857. Big deals on big wheels. Save big on Sierras and Yukons right now at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Get up to $14,000 off on the 2019 GMC Sierra with a new body style and tons of features. Now $14,000 off. Need third row seating? The 2019 GMC Yukon XL has tons of room and all the options. Right now, save up to $13,000 off. Big deals on big wheels. Save up to $14,000 off at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith. Hey hunters, fall hunting seasons are drawing near, and Jelco Outdoors has all the gear to make this year one to remember. Stop by and check out the bows, guns, stands, blinds, feeders, clothing, footwear, cameras, and so much more. Hurry in and start getting ready for fall at Jelco Outdoors, your premier locally owned outdoor store in the River Valley. Remember, a great hunt begins at Jelco Outdoors in Fort Smith.
True Grit Running Company is where perseverance meets passion. Whether you're training for your next marathon or just comfortable shoes to keep up with your kids, we have the gear to help you reach your goals. With our slow motion gait analysis and our extensive product knowledge, we have the right pair of shoes for you. We also carry apparel, nutrition, hydration accessories, injury prevention gear, and recovery products. We offer classes, workshops, and group runs. Lace up, show up, and get your grit on. True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
Did someone say, I'm hungry? Visit 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge on the Avenue. Try the new panini sandwiches like the Chicken Pyro or the Cubana or the signature 906 wings. Jumbo wings roasted with honey bacon jam. Want some spice? Try the black and blue wings. Experience their salads, flatbreads, coffees and desserts, top shelf wines and liquors, premium beers, world-class cigars, all in an atmosphere that feels less like a lounge and more like a destination. Sample, indulge, escape. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Treat your appetite on the Avenue. Tired of all the broken promises and broken equipment at your current gym? The Fort Smith Athletic Club is the nicest and most well-equipped fitness and tennis club in the area, with a state-of-the-art fitness center, Pilates, fitness classes, personal and group training, and the best tennis facilities in the region. 7 outdoor courts, 5 indoor courts, plus pickleball and racquetball courts, and free child care is included. The Fort Smith Athletic Club. Call 452-4031 for membership information.
The weather is hot and the deals are hotter at Hertz Car Sales. Hertz offers a wide selection of high-quality cars, SUVs, or trucks, and amazing customer service where you can buy direct and save on every car. With inventory arriving daily, why not make the short drive to 2810 Midland Boulevard or give them a call at 783-1722. You can also check them out on the web at buyfromhertz.com. Proud to serve Fort Smith and the River Valley. Stop by Hertz Car Sales today. You'll be glad you did.
Halftime is brought to you by Coors Light, made to chill. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
McFadden, the number 2 rusher in the SEC behind Kenny Irons. Boy, he hits that hole. Upfield he goes. Watch out. McFadden at the 25, 15, 5. Touchdown.
Back on Halftime on a Wednesday on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. It is going down to the back slope of the week now with into the second hour of a Wednesday. Phil Elson here with Ty Richardson on ESPN Arkansas. The Cherokee Casino hotline is 877-377-6963. We have a lot. We have members of rivals on our show quite a bit. We have Nikki Chavanel every Tuesday, and we've had Andrew Hutchinson, who we usually refer to as Hutch, on a lot. They are outstanding at what they do, and their columns alone and their opinions alone are usually really good enough to entice you to spend the little money that it does cost to get a rival subscription. But then there's also these PFF grades that the Rivals Network is a part of, and they're a little bit confusing for me. It's like understanding quarterback efficiency ratings or understanding how some of the more elusively understood sabermetrics in baseball, like runs created plus and ballpark factors and all that kind of stuff. I don't really know if I understand what these PFF grades that are given out game by game to not just each unit on the team, but to every player that even gets a snap, also gets graded by Pro Football Focus. But apparently the Arkansas Razorbacks graded out pretty well against Portland State, which, to be honest, every team in Division I football should be grading well against Portland State.
Yeah, Rakeem Boyd finishes second on the offense. He had a decent amount of snaps. Hayden Johnson was up top at number 1, but really he didn't get Sorry. Don't need.
Sorry,
to
you're
say
hungry. You're thinking lunch.
Yeah.
Or either that or you're searching for your wife right now in some dating app.
I hope Clay's not listening because I'm going to get a talking to for using a word I shouldn't be after that. All right, so yeah.
Was it the G word?
Yeah, did you not hear it?
I wasn't paying as close enough attention as Clay probably would be.
Yeah. So one of the things that people were really ticked off about after Saturday was the receiving corps and the fact that they dropped what Chad Morris said was 4 balls. I saw some statistics say 6. Pro Football Focus said they had 7 drops. The receiving graded out as a 53.9. Phil, you got to be better than that against Ole Miss if you're going to have a shot to win this ball game Saturday night.
I would say no doubt about that. And here's a statistic that I think does give a little window into maybe a way that Arkansas can have success against the Memphis offense. So we brought up the idea that redshirt quarterback Matt Corral was not successful as he had. They brought the blitz on it, but really one of the reasons is that Ole Miss tried to take some of the pressure off of Corral by running a lot, and they really didn't have any success. They rushed 33 times compared to 19 pass attempts by Corral, and they only gained 80 yards on those 33 carries. And this is supposed to be a pretty talented backfield for Ole Miss. Scotty Phillips, Jerry and Ely, who's a 5-star freshman who got 4 carries and only gained a couple of yards. But out of those 33 rushing plays, Ty, Ole Miss ran on 18 first down snaps. They had 24 snaps on first down and ran on 18 of them. They gained fewer than 2 yards on 11 of those 18 snaps. And so, I mean, you had Corral. We're going to have a lot of trouble getting his name right. So you had Corral normally looking at second down and 8 or second down and worse. And then that leads to, a team that has no success on third down conversions. They made 1 conversion on 10 attempts, and we're normally looking at third down and about 8.25 yards. So, and I think Clay brought something up last hour that rings true to this. The blitzes that they saw from John Chavis against Portland State there were some interesting blitzes. They came from linebackers, they came from cornerbacks, and the safeties as well. But the run blitz could end up being a pretty important piece to Saturday because Ole Miss is going to try to run the ball early, and if Arkansas can stop them and then find a way to get that pass blitz going from the corners, I think, and the safeties, I think you could end up with a lot of success chasing Corral around and conceivably confuse him into making some pretty bad decisions.
Yeah, one of the things that defensive coordinators always like to do with freshmen is make it complex, make it to where they're not used to seeing certain disguise coverages, shift back, whatever you need to do where he never gets comfortable. Again, guy's playing at home, but it's his first SEC game as a starter. I mean, this is not going to be an easy game. And I'm not going to pretend like Arkansas's defense is as daunting as if LSU or Alabama is walking in there, but there's still the pressure that he faces coming off a Week 1 loss where they lost to a team in Memphis that the Tigers consider Ole Miss to be a rival, but Ole Miss and their fan base don't consider Memphis to be a rival. And so there's a lot of pressure not only on Matt Luke, but on Matt Corral as well. And if John Chavis can just look at the film, look at the tape, look at what Memphis was able to do with that defense and use the schemes, come something similar, figure out what Corral didn't like attacking, was scared of to a point of, and just didn't feel comfortable with, then you get almost a true freshman. You get a redshirt freshman where he doesn't want to be, and that's on his butt. You bring the blitzes, you come after him, and you send him on his keister, Phil, and that's gonna keep him uncomfortable the entire game.
What do you, our listeners, expect to see from Arkansas defensively Saturday against Ole Miss? That'll certainly be a topic of conversation over the next 2 days. Cherokee Casino Hotline is open for a call or a text. 877-377-6963. I think this is definitely a topic to bring up tomorrow with both Bob Holt from the Democrat Gazette and Brett Norsworthy, who hosts the Ole Miss IMG Learfield pregame and postgame show. So we've got some guys that are steeped in the cultures of the programs that they cover joining us tomorrow for your Thursday edition of Halftime. All right, we'll come back after the break. We've got some likelihoods for Arkansas to beat Ole Miss, and apparently there is the ever so slightest chance that Arkansas finishes the year undefeated. How about that? ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
A show that lives up to the hype. You're listening to Halftime.
For 37 years, Burton Pools and Spas has been showing you how to get your feet wet without getting in over your head. And now in-ground pools are more affordable than ever at Burton Pools and Spas. For a limited time, pick one of 4 shapes and sizes of Burton Special Graphics Polymer Pools, the strongest pool in the industry, installed for only $29,950. Invest in your family this summer and turn your backyard into the place the whole family wants to be. Burton's will walk you through the whole process, from selecting the right pool for your yard to picking the right pumps and equipment to make your pool easy to maintain, plus decking and more. All this installed for under $30,000. If you've always dreamed of having your own pool but didn't think you could afford one, now is the time. During the spring sale at Burton Pools and Spas. Also ask about a free spa with the purchase of their Platinum package. Your own in-ground pool for under $30,000 from Burton Pools and Spas, 6121 Zero Street in Fort Smith, or online at burtonpools.com. Burton Pools and Spas, your source for backyard fun for over 37 years.
Mentor's Lumber True Value has a simple way to help rid your home of pesky insects. Right now, get a 1.1-gallon jug of Ortho Home Defense Insect Killer for just $9.99 after a $3 in-state rebate for True Value Rewards members while supplies last. This easy-to-use spray with ergonomic handle and extended reach wand kills existing bugs and prevents new bugs from entering your home, all in a single application. Find this bargain of the month and other great deals at Mentor's Lumber True Value. Certain exclusions apply. See store for details.
Hello, would you like me to find workout classes near you?
There are no stores that sell glasses within 10 miles of your location.
There's enough artificial in the world. That's why Michelob Ultra is brewed with no artificial colors or flavors. With just 95 calories and 2.6 carbs, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. 2019 Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri. 95 calories, 2.6 grams carbs, 0.6 grams protein, and 0.0 grams fat for 12 ounces.
Fall has arrived. Back to school, football games, hunting season, and we know that you don't have the time to deal with an auto accident. Let Evans Body Shop help you through the process from beginning to end. Our caring office staff will take care of the insurance details, and our dedicated shop crew will make sure that your vehicle is repaired properly and beautifully, and that you are back on the road in no time. Come meet us today and see why we say we meet the nicest people by accident. Visit with us at 412 Gordon Avenue in Van Buren, just off Fayetteville Road.
Evans Body Shop, where we meet the nicest people by accident.
Make-A-Wake Boat Sales and Service is not only where you can get your next Yamaha or Skeeter boat, they also carry a huge selection of bait and tackle. Find whatever floats your boat at Make-A-Wake Bait and Tackle. They carry tons of top brand lines of rods and reels and everything you need to gear up your tackle box, from Strike King, Kitech, and Zoom to Sunline and War Eagle products. Make finding your next Yamaha or Skeeter boat an easy catch with Make-A-Wake Boat Sales and Service in Van Buren, 4806 Alma Highway in Van Buren, and MakeAwakeBoats.com.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
That's Hammonds. Has the edge, has the 50. Hammonds down the sideline. Inside the 20. He'll take it. Touchdown, Razorbacks. Hammonds breaks it. A 64-yard TD.
Back on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. It is halftime on a Thursday. And we teased it a little bit by telling you there is a tiny slight chance, ever so slight, of Arkansas finishing the year undefeated. But it's there are 7 zeros before the first non-zero digit in the percentage. So it's there's probably more of a chance of Lauren Holly's character marrying Jim Carrey's Dumb and Dumber character. You know where that line actually came from. So you're saying there's more of a chance of her marrying him than Arkansas finishing the year undefeated, or even finishing the year with double-digit wins. ESPN FPI got updated, and that means so they've got all the likelihoods of winning every single game you play and the likelihood of finishing with whatever record. And the most likely record that the computer is spitting out for Arkansas is 4 wins and 8 losses. So right then and there, ESPN FPI is picking Arkansas to go 0-8 in the SEC. I mean, otherwise, that's 35.5% chance for the Razorbacks to finish 4-8. FPI's got them at just under 28% to finish 5-7. About a 10.5% chance to be bowl eligible. So it's not pretty, and really there's a less than 1% chance to even finish 10-2. But then again, we knew that. Didn't everybody that's paying attention to this team know that?
So technically, what you're saying, as you're quoting the Dumb and Dunner, so you're saying there's a chance Arkansas could still reel off 11 straight wins. Phil, that's what I'm hearing. That's what I heard. That's what I took away from what you just said.
ESPN FPI also has Arkansas with a 19.8% likelihood to win Saturday against Ole Miss. That doesn't sound like a very good likelihood. That's winning once in 5 chances.
Yeah, and it went back almost 7% compared to where it was in the preseason, which is not ideal, and that shows you what Vegas, ESPN Riders, and just the percentage of how it's calculated thinks about where the Arkansas Razorbacks are heading into Oxford. I still think it's going to be a good football game. I'm not going to pick Arkansas to win because I think they're going to lose, unfortunately. But there's reasons that the odds of Arkansas winning this football game have probably gone down since the season began because they only could beat Portland State by 7 points.
Well, and it's, my live odds app is still on the phone. It didn't get offloaded after the 1 week, Ty. So
there you go.
I can look in here and let you know about the over-under that they've got it anticipated at. And the over-under's at 55.5, which seems about right, really, because the way these two teams operated this past weekend, you feel like you could see a game that's in the low 20s.
Yeah, the offenses would traditionally, you think Arkansas, you think Ole Miss, especially, I guess not so Arkansas the last few years, but you think high-powered offenses with the ability to score. I know Hugh Freeze is now at Liberty University and hopefully recovering from that vicious staph infection that he's been encountered with. But that's the guy that kind of orchestrated everything from an offensive standpoint down there. And with Arkansas, you think Bobby P. and those offenses. And there were some times where Arkansas had pretty lethal offense with Brett Bielema. I think Brandon Allen's senior year they were pretty good on the offensive side of the football. But man, that's a game regardless of how it turns out, whether it's high scoring or it's a low-scoring affair, Phil. I can't imagine it's not more than 10 points. I can't imagine it being more than 10 points of a deficit that either of these teams ends the contest with.
Adam in Fort Smith texts in on the Cherokee Casino hotline. By the way, that's 877-377-6963. Adam says, I expect to see a blitzing Arkansas defense this Saturday. He mentioned he watched the Colorado for his Colorado State game. And I don't know how that necessarily translates into what's going on this Saturday because they don't play Colorado State until the Saturday after. So, but I think he's figuring you're going to have to treat that game whenever you play Colorado State as another SEC team. So, you know what? You do because you lost to them last year.
I wonder if he's discounting Ole Miss already and thinking they're just going to win that game or they're going to lose that game and already looking ahead all the way to Colorado State. Ross in Paris is asking us via the Cherokee Casino hotline how many days till first pitch, which he's done.
That's only the second time he's asked that question in the last 2 weeks on our own text line. And, hey, man, I'm wondering the same thing, and the only reason is because I'm a baseball geek, and you know how I feel about calling Arkansas baseball games. I'm not ready for this football season to be over yet. I want to see how this team improves. And for all the talking we've done for the last – I mean, when did the schedule come out? Was it February when the schedule came out?
Don't ask me that.
I think it was February. You just pinpointed. You knew you knew it that this was the most winnable game for Arkansas in the SEC. And it's the game you feel like for both teams that kind of decides the trajectory of the rest of the season. Because where else are the wins coming from? I mean, for Arkansas – a win over Colorado State and a win over San Jose State, nice. Not the same as a win over Ole Miss. And, again, where do the other wins come from? Where do you get those 2 wins that that ESPN doesn't think you're going to get, but Sports Illustrated does think you're going to get. I want to know, is it a computer model that SI is using to figure out their bowl projections? Because ESPN's using a computer model, and they're picking Arkansas to miss out on a bowl for yet a third consecutive year.
And that goes back to the halftime poll question, which we opened the program with. What will it take for you to be convinced that Arkansas is going bowling this year? And I know a lot of smart alecks that are listening to the program and following us on social media responded with just 6 wins. Yes, I know that's the case. If they get 6 wins, and even if they get 5 wins and have good academic standing, they would possibly be allowed to go to a bowl. But I'm talking about, what do you have to see these next couple games, or just even Ole Miss in general? If you think that Arkansas, by just looking at what they do in Ole Miss, could be a bowl contending team or go into a bowl game, what does it take? And a lot of people said the offense being where we've heard about all offseason, and since Chad Morris got to campus, what he's been hyped up about, the defense staying where it is. How about Arkansas just catching some breaks, Phil? I'm not talking about during the course of a game, but how about the fact that Tennessee, who's not on Arkansas' schedule, lost to Georgia State? Yeah, Missouri lay an egg up there in Wyoming, and that's going to maybe be a detriment to their season. And then Ole Miss losing to Memphis. Maybe these teams that we've heard about in the offseason that were picked ahead of Arkansas and were perceived to be better than the Razorbacks, maybe they're not, the gap of their talent is not that much bigger than Arkansas. Maybe you take advantage of that. Maybe you beat a team on the schedule that you shouldn't. I know Kentucky was at one point down at Toledo for a decent amount. Mississippi State was struggling with, I think, was it UMass? Was it Massachusetts they played? It's not like these teams are just unbeatable. You just might need to catch a break with teams not being as good as they were initially anticipated this year.
Well, I'm sure any coaching staff after a poor performance week 1 is putting enough pressure on themselves, and the players will feel the same way. But how, if you were a Tennessee fan or a Tennessee player, or if you're Jeremy Pruitt, what are you feeling going into this weekend against BYU? And BYU maybe not at the level as they had been under Kalani Sitake for the last, for about 3 years ago, but they hung with Utah for a bit. They are traveling to Knoxville. Tennessee favored by 2 points. And that game is kicked off 30 minutes before Arkansas and Ole Miss do. I got to tell you that I think a lot of eyes in the SEC will be looking to that ball game, just because of the, it's tough to pull your eyes away from a car accident when you drive past it. Doesn't Tennessee have the feeling of that right now? You want to watch it fall apart, because that's what it feels like is happening right there.
It's just unraveling, and it's kind of a bummer. And this is what Arkansas fans experienced last year. And maybe it'll happen this year. You don't want it to, but like for case example, this Saturday, you got Clemson A&M's going to be that 3:30 game, 3 o'clock game or whatever, and then you got LSU in Texas. And Phil, I'm going to be honest, if that Arkansas-Ole Miss game isn't close or it's not that exciting, it's going to be hard for me not to pay more attention to Sam Ehlinger taking on Joe Burrow down there in Austin, Texas. Like, that's just such a more high-profile game. So you're having some fans, and then people like me who are trying to cover this, maybe I'm just not doing my job as much as I should, but focused on the more high-octane games and more profile games like an LSU Texas. That could happen as well for Arkansas fans this year.
We still get some reactions from the thought that vanilla is tasty. We got to find another term to come up with for a boring offense, or something that just, isn't as exciting as maybe you thought it was, because vanilla's tasty. I like vanilla just fine. And sometimes vanilla's a lot better than the flavors that, are a little more exotic, that look like somebody stuck a whole mouthful of rainbow sprinkles in their mouth, chewed it up, and then sneezed in the ice cream fat. You know what I mean? Those ones that look like they're tasty but really weren't. Rice cakes, rice cake offense. I think that works very well. Who was that? El Guapo. Let me know that he wants to call it a rice cake offense. You ever had just a dry rice cake with nothing on it, Ty?
I can't say I have, but I know what they look like, and they don't look appetizing by staring at the suckers. So I'm gonna go and guess that you've had one or two by itself.
There was a rice cake craze, I don't know, about 15 or 20 years ago. They even came flavored, cheddar cheese flavored, garlic flavored, put a little peanut butter on it, but the dry ones with no salt on them just were terrible. It's like eating crunchy air. You know what I mean? It's no good. Bruce from Fort Smith says the offense was a kale smoothie. Now, be careful, because you can sweeten up some kale, and it's not as bad tasting as maybe you think it is.
You can? Mr. Health Nut over there?
Mr. Health Nut. I haven't had – if you'd have seen what I ate last night, it was not health food. It was a lobster roll. There's nothing healthy about a lobster roll just drenched in butter.
I thought anything from the sea was, like, healthy, kind of. Shellfish.
Orange sherbet or Cherry Garcia. That's what B.E. from Clarksville wants to see. A Cherry Garcia, that I would go for the Cherry Garcia offense. A little fruity burst every once in a while, something that you were just not expecting. I think that would taste beautiful. Let's see some Cherry Garcia from the Arkansas offense on Saturday. Mike in Fort Smith says vanilla is tasty. Chocolate chip ice cream is the bomb. And we really weren't getting into comparing ice cream flavors. We were just trying to find something to replace vanilla for something that is tasteless and something that is bland.
I feel like we're stealing Ruskin and Orange Stick right now by just start talking about going on food rants right now.
Too much food? Is it too much food for one show?
There's never too much food. I commend them for talking as much food as they do on their show. That's why I love listening to it so much. But the only bad part is I'm driving home from working out or something. I'm driving to working out. My stomach starts rumbling when I start listening to their show.
I was disappointed listening to them yesterday for a brief moment because it was like they'd never heard of the Four Corners Chevron gas station. Zach was complaining, saying you can't find good food at a gas station. Like, well, you obviously have never been to the Chevron gas station right next to the town square in Oxford, because it's one of the great bits of food in the entire Southeastern Conference. So any fans that are out there, if you're heading to Oxford and you've never been to that Four Corners Chevron, get there. And it'll be open when the game's over. You might have to wait through a line that crosses the street, but those chicken fingers are about as large as your forearm, and they taste a lot better than your forearm would, too. We'll come back to put a cherry on the top of Cherry Garcia halftime after the break on ESPN Arkansas and HitThatLine.com.
No hidden agendas on this program. You're listening to Halftime.
Joe's Grilling Cantina is the only place to watch the Hogs. Watch every game at Joe's. Enjoy half-price apps and taps during the game. And with TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat. Half-price appetizers like brisket nachos, Mexican pizza, 10-layer dip, or Joe's humongous sampler platter. All half-price. And all beers on tap are half-price. Watch every Hog game at Joe's. Half-price apps and taps during every Hog game at Joe's Grilling Cantina. 3400 South 74th Street across from Harps.
This Coors Light is the perfect temperature. How can I tell just based on the sound? I can't. But I can see that the mountain on the can is blue. And when the mountain is blue, your Coors Light is perfectly cold. Coors Light is cold lagered for a crisper taste, cold filtered for brightness and clarity, and cold packaged for peak refreshment. Doesn't that sound good? Coors Light, as cold as the Rockies, available down the street. 2019 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Your fence is more than a decoration. It's a reflection of its owner. Choosing a fence company should be done with integrity and quality in mind. The Fence Man has been providing fencing and security solutions for over 40 years. An in-house custom iron and gate department, plus an access control department. The Fence Man offers services other companies aren't equipped to do. The Fence Man, fencing and security solutions to protect what matters most. 479-782-3936 or online at thefencemancompany.com, a division of Quantum Property Services.
Frank Rowe Furniture knows you are tired of all the back-to-school sales. So this September, we are going to do something different. Come into Frank Rowe Furniture and spin the wheel and win a free swivel recliner or get anywhere from 5 to 50% off at Frank Rowe Furniture. We also are now offering 0 down and up to 60 months interest-free financing with approved credit. Spin the wheel to win only at Frank Rowe Furniture. You always win at Frank Rowe Furniture, 405 4th Street in Barling, Arkansas. Best seats in the house.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources. Thanks to everyone who chose Rath Auto Resources as a better way to drive, we've had a record summer. Now it's time to restock the lot. So all this month, we'll be giving up to $3,200 above appraised value for your trade. Even if you still owe money on it, we can help. With up to $3,200 extra for your trade, we can get you out of your old ride and into something nicer and newer now. Like these special purchase 2018 Hyundai Elantra SELs. loaded with equipment, great looking, and Rath Road ready, starting at only $13,991. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in the Meineke Car Care Center with buy 3, get 1 free on all tires and 50% off on brakes. Help me restock the lot and get up to $3,200 extra for your trade. Now at Arkansas's favorite used car dealer, Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, a better way to drive. 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online at rathauto.com.
Requires bank approval. Vehicle purchase price affects trade allowance.
Do you own apartment complexes, condos, and rental property? Then you have made a great investment. Now make another great decision by calling Trinity Multifamily to help you maximize your return. Trinity Multifamily offers full-service property management, marketing, leasing, sales, and all the services to make your cash flow. Take the hassles and frustrations out of ownership and call Trinity Multifamily at 479-452-1817 or online at trinitymultifamily.com. Trinity Multifamily, your teammate in the real estate game.
Was your roof damaged by recent storms? Don't fall victim to out-of-town contractors and fly-by-night repairmen. Trust the local roofing professionals at Able Roofing. Call their local number, 474-0006, for a free roof inspection. Never trust something as important as the roofing system on your home to a storm chaser. Able Roofing, 474-0006, will work with your insurance company. Call now for your free roof inspection, 474-0006. Able Roofing, the hometown roofers.
Halftime is brought to you by Coors Light, made to chill. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Well, the Bulldogs will kick it short, but they get it to McFadden back around the 7. He comes up to the 20, and he's off to the races. We were just talking about it. McFadden and Jones, they are mighty good, and McFadden shows it there. From the 7-yard line to the end zone, 93 yards for Darren McFadden. My goodness, they answer in a hurry.
Appreciate all your reactions today on Halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. I asked Bruce from Fort Smith to compare the offense to a kale smoothie. Is it healthy like a kale smoothie? He says no. The offense is not healthy yet. You know what is healthy, though, Ty? And I think the listeners, if you stay tuned after the next hour, you're going to hear about this ad nauseum on Ruskin Zach. Zach Arn's right leg is healthy. I didn't think it was unhealthy or injured or anything, but the dude kicked a field goal. How long was that field goal? You put the video out on our pre-show tweet.
45,
how long was this field
baby, goal? 45.
That's not a chip shot. That's a pretty impressive boot.
Dude's got it, man. Even at a spry, what is he, 51? I think 50. He always tells me he's 50 plus when we're texting. He's like, "Oh, you youngin," and then he goes on about his diatribe about his age. But yeah, props to our boy Zach Arns for kicking again a 45-yard field goal. Incredible.
Maybe I could kick a 20-yarder. Maybe throw a baseball through that thing. Yes, you got it. No problem about that. Good show today. Appreciate your texts and your tweets. Bob Holt and Brett Norsworthy joining us tomorrow as we preview Arkansas versus Ole Miss. Now for Ty, I'm Phil. Get up, get out, and get better.
When was the last time you looked forward to seeing the dentist? Well, if it's been